I remember the first time I got called down to the police station. I was 13 years old and I had no idea what was going on. Apparently, some of my friends in the neighborhood were playing with fire and a shed got burned down, one of my neighbors. And because I was their friend, I ended up being called in with them. Now I remember not getting in trouble because all my friends vouched for me and I wasn't there. But I remember how concerned I was for them. All the consequences they got. And I realized that they wouldn't have done that unless they had been pressured to do so. There was another kid in our neighborhood who was kind of the leader of the pack. And he was cool and everyone wanted to be like him. So what had happened was he was there, he was doing it, so everybody else just decided to do it. And I thought to myself, what would I have done if I was there? Would I have gone along with the crowd? Would I have been able to stand up and say no and not crack under the pressure? You see, the Apostle Paul experienced pressure too. You know his story of being on the road to Damascus and being blinded and eventually accepting Christ. And he was walking in a new way, but right after he began to preach the gospel, he started experiencing pressure. The Christians, they were afraid of him. They didn't want to have anything to do with this man. He was a persecutor. They didn't understand that he had a heart change. The Jews were angry with him because they saw Paul now as a threat, playing for the opposite team. And so Paul continued to experience these pressures. He eventually had to escape from Jerusalem and run back to his hometown in Tarsus. And when he gets back to his hometown, guess what? There's more pressure. His family ends up disowning him. He ends up living outside of town, and tradition says that he ends up living in a cave for 8 years. Talk about the pressure. How do you handle peer pressure in your life? Can you stand up against the pressure? How does God help us deal with the pressure? Well, in 1 Corinthians 10, it teaches us that God gives us no temptation that he doesn't provide for us an escape or a way out. Isn't that awesome? That no matter what the temptation we face, God is always going to give us a way out. We just have to look for it. We have to be in tune with God and recognize that there is an opportunity, that we don't have to participate. We can handle the pressure because God's with us. And we can have a way out and escape. Boy, I wish my friends knew that at that time when I was 13. I wish they would have gone to God and thought about another way and listened for another opportunity instead of falling under the pressure of the cool kid in town. I want you to think about that as you put on a new self. Think about the pressures that you might be facing right now. Maybe there's things that your friends are asking you to do. Maybe there's things you're watching that you probably shouldn't be watching, but you've been tempted. Maybe you've been the temptation in somebody else's life. I want to encourage you to go to God when it comes to temptation. Pray to him. Think about how God might help you put on a new self.